Hey, my medical coding family. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great holiday. It's so good to see everybody back. Feels like a lifetime ago we practiced medical coding. It is a blustery day today. So windy here in Arizona. You guys let me know in chat what you think the answer is. Hey, MK, good to see you. I have not used my voice in I don't know how many days, so it's really rusty. It's not used to talking. So I'm trying to warm it up here with some tea and water. Hey, Krishan, how's it going? I got chocolate candies all over my desk from Christmas. It's a mess. It's a total mess here. Hey, you're interested in this, Kiki? Oh, you found the right live then. I like to help you guys pass the medical coding exam, hopefully without a course for free. Thank you, MK. She's been one of my students and has passed in medical coding, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years now. What do you guys think the answer is? Hey, Bill, how's it going? Happy holidays. Tracy, you're taking your exam on the 23rd. Oh, no worries. I know it is very worrisome for sure, but just try to remember headers before descriptors, right? That's the main thing. Two, 1, 3, 15 is our very first code in our numerical sequence, right? We go to that code, we notice that it is a closed procedure. So you know right away your answer cannot be 21315 because it's a closed procedure. Our 37 is also a closed procedure. 30 is an open procedure. We can tell that by its mama code, which is 31225. So the only answer it could be is our 25 or 30. And then it's just deciding whether we are complicated or have an open commuted treatment, right? Or something like that. Let's see what's going on. Oh, complicated. Yeah, with our internal or external fixation devices. And since we don't have that mentioned, what do you guys think? The cool thing about Pocket Prep is like I went through and I got rid of 15 because it's a closed procedure. So is our 37. So look how you can strike through some of those answers and get rid of them out of your view. And then you know it's only the difference between these two, right? And if we don't have any mention of the external devices, then we know our answer is D, right? Another cool thing with Pocket Prep is you do get the page numbers where the answers are, which is page 148 of the AMA 25 CPT book. If you are on TikTok, you've got a different view because you're going through a camera to my TV screen to view this video, but I am streaming live on Tube of the U if you want a better view to see the whole screen. Here's our next question. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? You're planning on taking your CCS this year? Awesome. One of my very first people that I ever helped was back in 2019. Her name is Janet, and she got her CCS. I helped her. You're taking your exam tomorrow. Could you provide me with any insight? Main thing is for tomorrow's exam is, let's see. See if I can. Let me delete that. And then add another one. Yeah, there we go. So if you're taking your exam tomorrow, I was just working on that section's notes. You'll notice that every section of this CPT book all has red, blue, and green headers. If your available answers are different headers, then you need to clear those first. So even in like some areas like urology or digestive, whatever, probably. Let me go to this one because this will make it more sense. We have a green header in the female reproductive system, right? It's just talking about our genitalia system. But we have another green header in this section, which is maternity care, right? So first off, are your available answers two of them underneath these code numbers? And then two of them underneath these code numbers. The first thing you need to know to clear is your green header. Are you doing just a surgery on a patient's organs that has nothing to do with maternity care? Then you know your answer has to be with this set of numbers. If they've recently, oh, by the way, they just had a baby today, then you know your answer has to be underneath this set of code numbers, right? And then once you're underneath the correct green header, then you have to make sure you're underneath the correct body part, right? Sometimes your body parts aren't all red body parts. Sometimes they're actually black body parts. So let's say your question is talking about doing a procedure on a bladder. Well, you may get to the bladder by going through the urethra, and just because they mention the urethra doesn't mean they did a repair on the urethra, right? If it's underneath this red header, that means you did a repair, an excision, an incision. You did something to the urethra. If you only did it to the bladder, then you're only underneath this header. If you did a repair to the bladder and you did a stent in the urethra while you went down, combo code, that's where you are going to be only under the black codes at the end of the section that do the repairs on the urethra and the bladder. I know this because I know how this CPT book is set up, because I read the beginning of this book. That says the instructions for how to use this textbook. If you have not gone and read every word from here all the way back through the medicine section, then you won't know like when to add modifiers, when time is involved, right? Add-on codes. This has everything to do with modifiers or not modifiers, right? The format and the way that the book is set up, mama and child codes, that kind of stuff, and when to add modifiers is all described here. Time and place of service affects the use of the code, like the 26 modifier or the TC modifier. If you don't understand place of service, then you won't know if the question is asking you to bill for the physician, for the facility, or if that physician owns the equipment themselves. What does that mean, right? Unlisted procedures and all their examples. Every time they have the word example here in the front of this book, example, 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 example. This is where I find a lot of their questions for the CPC exam. They want to know, did you read the beginning of the book and understand how the book is set up? Because this is all they can test you on. They can't test you on real world scenarios with United Healthcare or Cigna in an EHR system that's all electronic. They're making you bring these books because they want to test you on these books. If you haven't read this part and understand there's a difference between, right, where is it? I can't find anything in the 2026 book because it's brand new to me. We've got time, right, for CPT codes, but you've got another time guideline, right, which is different because it's a time guideline for E&M visits, right? So we've got another guideline right here for time, but it's only based off of E&M codes. This time is based for all the CPT codes like hydration, chemotherapy, injections, push injections, anything that is time-based. Acupuncture or something. I can't remember all of them, but there's a lot of codes that are time-based, but they're procedures, right? This time base is based off of E&M. And do you know things like, what if you're dealing with a code that is time-based and an E&M code? How do you do time for E&M or the procedure when both of them are time-based? There's a guideline for that here. And the answer to that question is you don't use time for E&M. You have to use time for the procedure, and you have to do MDM, which is problem, data, and risk assessment to do your E&M visit. But they want to know, do you know how to use this book? Some of the most missed concepts are not clearing your do nots, not clearing your do's, when to use a code with another code, when to not use modifiers, like on codes that have that plus symbol. If you have two procedures that you did together, like integumentary and a cardiovascular code, you did two procedures. You fixed their skin and you worked on their mitral valve. What modifier do you add? Where do you add it? All that information is up here in the beginning of the book, and it tells you. If you can't look at available answers and know, oh, that 59 modifier would never go with that code because it has a plus symbol, or they're both two parent codes, or one's a child code and one's a parent code, but there's no modifier listed, and you don't know that that's not a correct answer. That's the kind of stuff that they test you on, is just how the book is set up. Do you know the differences in what words would mean we only cut into the body, which is incision? What's the difference between that and an excision, right? What if they don't say the word incision and excision? What if they say something different? Would you know what those words are and pick that out of the exam question to know which answer is correct? Because you got to know your surgery types. Again, in the front of your book, they tell you in the very beginning what the differences are between your CPT codes with this review, right? We've got all of our different surgeries, like cutting into, which is incision, which is OTOMY, but then a lot of your CPT codes, procedures, are ectomies, ECTOMY. Do you know what the differences are? Do you know the differences between you cutting into the body around an organ, epi, below the organ, infra, on the same side, but opposite side, like a right kidney, left kidney, or whatever? ISPA, do you know what if they cut into the middle of something? Do you know to look for the prefix meso, meta, peri, going around, behind, if you're retro, or trans, going across? Many of our, even fracture codes, like in the bones, like the phalanges or the humerus, they're all fractures of the humerus or the phalanges. Every single one of them will be open, closed, percutaneous treatment of a phalange or a humerus bone. They all say the same thing, but there's a tiny word inside these little CPT code descriptors which will say the name of a bone, which is condyle, right? But right before it, it'll say epicondyle, infracondyle, supracondyle. Have you went through and highlighted all those little differences so that you've got that highlighted quickly, because you only have 120 seconds per question, right? So you got to get through there really quickly. Like here, I can see my retros really quickly because they're purple. I got retro, retro. I've got 2 retros, or I'm bilateral, right? My highlights over here. Have I got anything? Oh, I've got Perry, 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 or I'm trans, trans, trans. Some of them are peritoneal and some of them are rectal. So all the rectals are blue and the peritoneal are orange. So the first thing, if these 2 are my available answers or these 2 are my other 2 available answers, I know I got to look for, did we go in rectally or did we go through the peritoneal? And then that is helpful. And then you just pick out whether you did targeted lesions, or they have a new word this year, which is, what's our new word in here? Targeted. Discrete. That's right. Are you doing a discrete lesion or a targeted lesion? The discrete I did in yellow, and then targeted ones I did in green. So discrete, discrete, targeted, targeted. So I go through and make sure that I read the guidelines right before each code set, because there'll be other things that we need to know. You can't use certain codes with certain codes if they're going to be able to use a modifier or added radiology. They'll let you know in the guidelines right before, but you have to keep in mind all the stuff from the beginning of the book along with it. Are you peri, supra, retro, trans? Yep. Check for, did you do CT, MRI, or MRI with ultrasounds? You'll have combo codes. Some of them are just MRI, some of them are just ultrasound. And then you'll have some that are CT or MRI or ultrasound guided. They're combo codes. Have you marked your differences? That's super helpful. But those pages in the front of your book section right before you code them, I always like to use these for my available answers. As soon as I get to a question, I check to make sure I'm actually doing a procedure on the red body part. And then what kind of procedure did I do? Did I just cut into the body? Did I remove something? Did I add something like a stent to the body? Did I fix something? Right? Was there an infection going on? Because that's usually a different set of codes. Um, and look for those differences to help narrow down my available answers. And another thing that I like to practice with these practice exam questions is my index. Do you guys know how to use it in the back of the book? Because you can just look up the answer instead of looking at 4 different codes and looking to see which available answer might be correct, looking for your infras and intras and extras and stuff like that. If you just use the index back here, a lot of times it'll tell you what the answer is. You did an adenoidectomy of the tear duct, right? All you need to know is right here. Did you do a partial or did you do a total? And it tells you what the code answer is. And then you can just pick it out of the available answers, A, B, C, or D. And this index is very forgiving. It's not like the ICD-10 one, which I hate. I've never been a very good ICD-10 coder out of the book because you got to know the magic word, right? This one, you don't need to know the magic word. You can look under the body part, the disease, or the procedure name. It still gets you to the correct answer, which is really helpful. So if you're doing pap smears, right? You're doing, and they say it's for forensics, it tells you exactly what the answer is, 88125. It's very forgiving back here. You can look up answers in many different ways, even just by looking at the body part. You can look at the procedure, like for anesthesia. If you're doing those exam questions under anesthesia, you can just, if, and they're telling you did anesthesia for, and I don't know if it's like for a cholecystectomy, and you don't know if the gallbladder is in the upper or lower abdomen, because a lot of times in the CPC exam, they love to, absolutely love to pick out anesthesia codes, like you're doing a surgery in the upper abdomen or the lower abdomen. But if you don't know what body parts, like a spleen, where is that, in the upper or lower, then you will pick the wrong one, right? Just because this is very vague up here in anesthesia. But if you learn to use your anesthesia index back here, and then you go to the right organ that you removed, right, it'll tell you exactly which anesthesia code to pick out. That way you're not up here trying to decide where the gallbladder is or where the spleen is. You can actually do it back here in the index. But again, it all goes back to, do you know how to use the book? And AAPC is very good at finding ways to know whether you've actually practiced and played around in this book and know how to look up things without, run into each code and only relying on the descriptor. You have to know where the guidelines are right before a certain section, where the coding tips are at, where your parentheticals are, and right before they even code these codes right here, there's an alert up here that tells you something about it that you need to know before you just pick whether you did an insertion or a removal, right? And then there's little hints in your little parentheticals. They want to know, do you know how to use the books? All right, turn that off and get back to this one. Who passed? Who passed? Who passed? Who passed? McNair. Yay. She said she watched the 7-hour boot camp and was able to pass with that. Yay. That's awesome. It's a great little $40, right? Uh, no, you can actually use the 2025 book for next year if you want to for your certification exam. Totally up to you. Currently, the current exam, I think right now that's being given this month is better with the 2024 books, actually. So, you know, totally up to you. If you have the money to throw at another set of books, then great. But if you could use saving that money, then don't worry about that. No, 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 no. Hey, Twinkle, how's it going? I wish this would focus correctly on the screen so that, and that stupid thing about the wish queue. I wish it would go away. And, all right. There we go. No, the boot camp is not included in the membership. book prep videos and all the workshop replays and the duck classes, my 2-hour classes that we have on the weekends are all included in the membership on YouTube. The boot camps are located. Let's show you. So if we go to medicalcodingbyjen.com and you go over here to the top corner where it says video replays. Right there, it just says video replays. You can click that link right there, and there are the boot camps. I have one from October and one from July. Neither are better than the other one. What I did was I took those PowerPoint presentations and swapped out the questions for a new set of questions. I did it twice. The one from October is about 8 hours long. It might have a little bit more E&M questions in it. And then the other one from July is a new set of questions, and it's 7 hours long. Both of them work great. I do have a 5-hour workshop that's E&M, another one that's for CRC, and another one that's CPMA. These are the standalone videos that the links will never change. Once you purchase them, you can watch them in replay forever, and they'll all be right here whenever you need them. If and when the exam changes enough for me to create 8 hours of a new video, I'll create a new boot camp. But for now, these are perfect. And it's like a mini course. It teaches you about what's the tricky codes in each section. Like we'll start off in integumentary, right? I tell you what the tricky parts are and how to handle those CPT code descriptors that are tricky in that area. And then we go over some of the guidelines that are often asked on the exam. I'll share with you my predicted codes that I think possibly might show up on the exam. I'm not a wizard, but if I was writing the exam questions, this is what I would test you on. And then we do some practice questions in that section, and then we'll move on to the next section. So that's why it's 8 hours long. We have a couple of more course options for people that want to take the course. I noticed that Integrity Coding was doing this, so I decided to mirror their thing that they're doing now too. If by chance you wanted to buy AAPC's course, and that's it. You don't want manuals, you don't want a membership, you don't want exam attempts, you don't want Practicode. You just want access to 20 chapters of their course. You can purchase it now right there for the $900, and then there's a $55 administration thing for the application thing that I have to send into AAPC too. So you also have to purchase or already have access to the training manual, which is $189, which is right next to it. So you have to have both those two things, but you could do the course. And I'm going to be teaching it again next week, starting in January, around Thursdays and Sundays. We'll do a chapter every lesson, so 2 chapters a week. If anybody wants to participate, but it's you get access to the course for a whole year. You get all the workshops and my notes if you finish the course, and actually do the work that's in it. I'll let you have my notes, and you can watch my lessons or do the replays. But this does not get you anything. No membership, no nothing. Just the course, and you got to have the training manual. And no, you cannot buy the training manual without the course. If you try to purchase the training manual and you don't have access to the course, then I just have to refund your money and because I can't sell that separately without the course. I guess I probably should have combined it into one thing, but you can put them both in your cart. And there's um all those Allipays or whatever that are attached to the website. The other thing that we've got is a $245 self-paced AAPC course for the certification exam. It's a set of 8-hour videos from AAPC that they sell on their website. I think they sell it for like $2.99. I just used my teacher discount for you guys and have it here if you guys want it. It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't write none of the material. I didn't publish it. It's just AAPC's 8-hour self-paced course from the certification point of view, their exam point of view. And then there's other options if you want the full course with the books, the manuals, the exam attempts, the membership and Practicode. You can get the full course. If you don't want any manuals, there's a couple of options there too. So, and then there's all the stuff that ways to pay, like Afterpay, Affirm, and what have you there. You can download the course syllabus right there if you want to. And if you click in to this or any of those things, there's a whole bunch of stuff to read about expectations, what you're getting, what you have to do. So, be sure and go over it. Like that course, 20 chapters, means have you got time to answer 1,500 questions? Have you got time to watch 317 videos? Do you have time to read 652 pages in your schedule right now? Have you got time for all of this? That's the expectation. So be sure to, I've gone through a great detail and told you, what to expect and what you need. So anyway, there you go for that. Don't forget about my free resources up in the very top. Move that back over. Free resources. We've got lots of cool stuff. If you go to the FAQ area, it'll show you about our Discord study group and how to get into that. Also has a full list of a ton of free grants, um, free practice questions, like there's a free grant list from Coding Clarified. They have a scholarship fund where they go through all of the unemployment agencies for um, most of the states, right? They've gone through and listed their school on every state's pretty much unemployment agency that costs like, for Arizona, it's like $5,000 to do that for my state. So Coding Clarified has gone through and done most states and added them to the list of qualified schools. And then they have a grant program where unemployment can pay for the CPC course. Anyway, that's there. Pocket Prep has a free grant. AAPC has 2 grants. They've got one, it's a disaster one, and then one is for hardship. So, like if you're in a car wreck and lose your manuals or flooding or what have you, they got one for that. And then they've got a financial hardship one. But you do have to have a membership with them to win those scholarships. CMS has free training classes. So if you ever wanted to take any free classes, the link is here for that. Really cool. You just go to their website and then these are free classes. So if I wanted to do the diagnosis coding free course, it comes with its own certification too. So you can click into the lesson and you can see right here we got lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and then you take a test, which is 5 minutes long. If you pass, which you can take it unlimited amount of times, you will end up with a certification from CMS that says you're qualified for ICD-10 coding. So there's a lot of free resources on my website. Don't be afraid of it. Click around, search around, look for stuff on my website. I use it just to hold stuff for you guys. I also have a free practice area where you guys can go and do free practice questions. You just click on what answer you think it is, and it'll give you the immediate answer. You can do download some PDFs. There's flashcards, all kinds of stuff. You can do my book prep for free here too. I've got all my pictures of what I do in my book prep and the instructions listed out how to do it there. Also have some videos of the digestive system of me doing the notes code by code, and then, for free. If you guys want the rest of the videos, those are on YouTube, and you just purchase the $5 membership, and then you get access to the rest of them if you wanted them. But that's what's going on right now. I don't have any tutoring or courses or classes or anything individually one-on-one going on right now. I got 2 kids in competition in 2 different sports right now and a new course starting in January, so I just don't have the time right now. But as soon as I do have some time freeing up, probably in March, it looks like Travis's competitions will end then, and I won't have any going on then. I'll be able to do one-on-one tutoring again. And then I do have an $8 membership for practice exam questions. If you want access to any questions that I've written, it's $8. It gives you access to all these pages when you log on, and you can come to this page and you can do a ton of practice questions. You just click on it and it'll tell you whether the answer is right or wrong, that kind of stuff. It'll have anatomy and vocabulary and all kinds of stuff here. And I add questions all the time, add PDFs that you guys can download, um, anatomy stuff that you can do. You just drag and drop, and then check to see if you got it right. That's a patient's chart. You just fill in the information into the patient's chart and see if you got it right. There's always something interesting to do here, to play around with. Um, hopefully to help out, but just a ton of the practice exam questions is the coolest thing. And you just click on what you think the answer is, and it'll tell you whether you're right or wrong as soon as you answer each individual question, which I really like. I don't like to answer a ton of questions and then wait to see if I got them all right. I want to know right away, do I have that answer right before I move on to the next question? I can't handle it if I don't know that. Um, my notes and other things are always available here, but hopefully that's helpful. Let's get back to doing some pocket prep questions. What did you guys think was the answer for that one? You're welcome. Oh, I wouldn't call it a fail, Carol. I would call it a new learning opportunity, right? I'm sure you learned a lot about taking the exam and what to expect on your next attempt. Having that learning experience is vital. Am I saying B? B is correct. Good job. The answer for that one is on page 38. It says, huh, even though we're dealing with a E&M question. What about this one? Are we a nurse visit, a new patient, or an established patient? Hey, Mia, Maya, good to see you. gifting away 5 memberships into the YouTube channel to 5 members who are in the YouTube chat right now. So it looks like Nicole and Makeup and Preet and Beth and Groovy Jill and Bluey all won YouTube memberships. You guys will have access to the YouTube channel and all of the videos, including the book prep videos, all the old workshops, and the recent and old duck classes, which are great. Those are about 2 hours long, and we do the hardest and worst questions that sometimes pop up on the exam, and I show you how to handle those. I hope those memberships help you guys out. I don't know where to start. I had all the AAPC practice exams, A through F, in high scores. Right. Did you do all of the pocket prep questions? And also, another area. So I'll tell you in just a second while you guys work on that one. What do you guys think is the answer? So if you're on AAPC's website and you failed your exam, right? You click on your exam that you failed and you view your score, right? They give you a ton of great information here. If you scroll down past it, there's another set of practice questions that they sell you called area of study. And you can pick and buy both sets, and these are excellent and a lot tougher questions. Or you can pick the ones that you failed in by that top button right there, and then it'll key in your score from your certification exam, which is up here, into the individual areas, and anywhere that you made less than 70, it will give you access to buy 20 questions in that area. So if you made a 60% in integumentary, there's an opportunity for 20 more questions. And these are tougher, harder questions that are added bonuses that are not part of exams A through F. And you can deselect, let's say I made a 60 in integumentary, maybe I only need just 10 of them, okay? And then I made a 60 in the 5,000, so I'm only going to get 10 of those too. But I made, I don't know, a 30% in lab and path. Oh, I'm going to keep both of those because I did really bad in that, right? You can make up, and I made a 40% in E&M, so I'm going to keep both of those sets. But the rest that I got super close in, right, I might only get just 10 set. And then you just hit add items to your cart and then go do those questions. But as you're practicing questions, like with Pocket Prep, do you know how to use the index and find the correct answer for the CPT code ones, right? Yep, Pocket Prep's really been helping me focus on your weakest areas. Isn't it great? I had them email me the other day. Yeah, Pocket Prep only gives you 300 questions. Pocket Prep gives you access to 750 questions. If you also go to my website right here, Medical Coding by Jen, and you click on Pocket Prep, which is that purple logo right there. You click on that, it'll take you to medical. Click the top link and click AAPC CPC. The cool thing about this is, like this exam that I'm doing right here, I created it. I picked where they gave me only E&M questions and maybe musculoskeletal questions. And I could work on the problem areas that I need. And it's bonus questions. And it's only $40 for access for 3 months. So for the next 90 days, you got access of 750 questions that you could build exams from. You could concentrate on just one section, and having the page numbers inside the CPT book where the answer is located. Because what if the answer is an answer and you're like, how is it that answer? I don't know why they're picking that code. It doesn't say that. It tells you where the answer is, and then that forces you to go look at that page and find that guideline or that parenthetical or something that you overlooked and missed. I learned more by doing pocket prep than I did doing AAPC's practice exam questions, because I just got to where I memorized the answers, right? But I didn't really know a lot about the CPT manual and how it was set up. Pocket prep showed me a little bit more about that because it forced me to look up where those answers are. And I was trying to argue with it all the time and telling it it's wrong. You took the CCO course for outpatient. Yep. A lot of those COC exam questions inside the course, a few of those questions were on my CPC certification exam because I also took the COC course. They gave it to us free back in 2019, 2020, around that time during COVID. Yeah, that was crazy. Somebody says it's A. A is correct. Good job. Perfect. Well, I got to skip this one. It won't work on this display. All right. What do you guys think about this musculoskeletal one? Yeah. The AAPC extra bonus questions after you fail the area of study questions can be a little expensive. It's $500 for both sets. It's 320 questions. That's why I say only purchase, 10 or 20 from the sections that you did low in. But Pocket Prep's super reasonable. You can even get it to $8 a month if you buy the whole year for $90. Then you get access for a whole year. And none of it's going to do you any good, and you still won't pass the exam if you don't know how the CPC book, the CPT book, is set up and why codes or descriptors are written the way they are. Why are they indented the way they are? Which ones can you use modifiers with? Which ones can you not? If you don't know how to look at your parentheticals, or to know whether there's a guideline for that set of codes that you need to think about before you pick that as an answer, then none of it's going to do you any good, right? You've got to know, like I was telling you before earlier in the live, how the CPT book is set up. Really read the beginning of the book on the instructions for how to use it. Look for examples of what they're talking about in each sentence in the book randomly, not just the examples that they tell you about. Go find what they're talking about. And then start doing your exam questions in multiple different ways, right? This one, most people just run to each individual code and look at the definition of the CPT code. Why don't you go to the index? Go look up tumor removal that was subcutaneous and use the index to find the answer instead of running to the CPT codes and look at the differences. Practicing and playing around in this book and trying to use it in different ways than just the standard run into the code and run into the descriptor. Also, don't go to write the index. Also, start utilizing these pages. Look at the 27364 is under excision. 27339, which is B, it's also under excision. Is one of them going to be under? One of them might be under incision. Some of the answers, two of them will be under incision, and two of them will be under excision. When that happens, and you use this to eliminate certain answers, that's another tool to use during the exam. Or just going back here and looking up tumor and excision and then subcutaneous and finding and having it tell you exactly what the answer is instead of running to the codes and the descriptors. Because if that's failing you and you're failing the exam, then don't do it the same way, right? Find a different way. Find alternatives. Start using this stuff. Don't forget that if you have a guideline that you need to worry about for a set of codes, it'll have an asterisk beside it. None of these have asterisks except for one set, right? Wound exploration. It has the little asterisk. Any available answers in this area has a guideline you have to worry about before it. Incisions don't, excisions don't, and removals don't, but wound care does. And that's what they're going to ask you about. Yes, don't give up. Good job. Good job. Somebody said B on this one too. Yes, Carol, because these codes are voted on by Congress, right? Literally, they're voted on by CMS and Congress. They don't change. Every once in a while, we'll delete one or add an additional one, but it's the same code since the beginning of time, and they started working on a fractured humerus. It's that CPT code. So don't worry about what version or year version you have of my notes. Those are still applicable because the codes haven't changed. We may have added a couple of them into the section, but that's okay. Does Jen have videos on modifiers? If we go to Medical Coding by Jen, we go to the free resources, go to the social media tab, right? You click on Tube of the U, right? Go there. Knowing how to navigate this is super helpful. If you're looking for my short practice question videos, they're under the word short. If you're looking for the replay videos of all my free live lessons, they're under the word live and they're labeled, right? They'll say compliance, urology, female reproduction, anesthesia. They're labeled. You can go to the podcast. You can listen to me read the guidelines and tell you what I think in layman's terms that all means. You can go to the playlist. You can go to the post page where I've got a ton of practice exam questions that are interactive. They're not videos, but they're practice exam questions that you can click on and see what the answer is. The other thing that they have over here is this little magnifying glass right there. If you click on that and type in the word you're looking for, like modifiers, and hit the word search, it'll bring up every video that I have made on modifiers in one long list. You can type in process for the word process of elimination, right? And it'll bring up every video on process of elimination. I even have a playlist that's got 44 videos on it right there. That's what that little magnifying glass is on anybody's YouTube channel is for. And look, there's a 2-hour video right there where we did nothing but process of elimination for 50 questions. Pretty cool. YouTube's got it going on. Under the playlist, you can view the, like the duck classes that I have right there, the CPT or ICD-10 notes, the workshops, the CPT book prep videos, all that stuff is all listed. Yep, super handy dandy. All right. What you guys think is the answer for that one? Good Lord, Carol. I hate for you to have to put those over. Another option would be take that cover from the 26 and take it to Staples and have it re-reamed with that cover on it. You're 24 because it makes a damn difference. But anyway, that's just would be my opinion because good God. I know how long it takes to make these notes and good Lord, what a nightmare. But anyway, good practice. Yeah, just put the 2026 cover on that 2024 book. Then you don't have to redo all that mess. I know, LJ, ain't I crazy? I am nothing other than a problem solver. I have lived too long to not think of an alternate way to do everything in my life. I'm like, what in the world? No way. I'd find another way. No one's going to check that hard or know the difference. And you guys know I create documents for you guys that will turn your 2025 book into a 2026 book. I have that document available in my shop so that if you have a 2025 or a 2024 that you want to turn into a 2025, vice versa, those are just like $20. And then you can follow along with me and I add in the new codes and then show you which ones got deleted. So you can just cross them out, but it's no big deal. You can leave them in there. Because I know there's one question on the current exam that you actually need the 2024 HipPix book on that can show up on the current exam. But if you have the 2025 book, HipPix, it's not in that book. And it's incredibly frustrating because the code got deleted, but they forgot to take the question out of their queue. medicalcodingbyjen.com. Oh, if you have a prior year book, but you want to turn that book into a current year book without buying the new book, I have a document for that, is what I was talking about. Some people said B, some people said C. Do you know the differences between subcutaneous, muscular, yeah, greater than, less than, those kind of things? C is the correct answer. This one was greater than the 3. What do you guys think about this one? Don't forget to try different ways to answer the question. All your E&M headers, right? You've got lists of them like the disability services or online or basic life, all care planning visits, and then their code sets that are underneath them. Try to answer your questions instead of running to the codes and the descriptors. Don't forget about the front of your book because these do give you the title and what's going on in them. And you might be able to answer some of these questions without even running to the codes. 99421, it tells you on that page that that's an online digital evaluation and management code. Is that what we did today? Patient having their blood pressure, weight, and height. Is that an online digital evaluation? I hear my kids are outside my door doing something. Hold on. Cat boxes. He's doing the cat boxes. Tomorrow's trash day. What do you guys think? 99450. What's that one under? That's under basic life support or basic life or disability evaluation services. 55 is work related or medical disability. And so is 56. So it's a difference between these 50s, right? Are you under work related or medical disability? Or are you under basic life or disability evaluations? You can see how 55 and 56 and 50, all 3 of them actually have disability evaluation services listed in them. But one of them, 2 of them are related or could be related to work related. And then the other one says basic life or maybe like a insurance policy or something, right? And that's all it's really wanting to know, right? Is to know if you know the difference between those headers, a basic life and disability or work related and disability. They're wanting to know, did you know the differences? One of them's a medical disability and one of them's just a basic life disability. And that's all they're testing you on is this book and its headers. Do you know the differences between them? What do you guys think about this one? They're just wanting to know which ones are SNFs, ICFs, or LTCFs. Yep, yep. Indeed. Absolutely. What do you guys think about this one? Again, you can use your E&M chart in the front of the E&M section. You don't have to run to each of these codes. That'll save you some time. James, it's too windy for cardboard boxes. Maybe in the morning we can put out some, but for tonight, it's way too windy. Let's just put the cans out. And be sure the lids are down tight. I don't want trash all over the street. D? D is correct. Good job. What about this one? This one you should not have to move to the code that they're talking about, 22831. You should know your differences between your 59, 62, 55, 51. Or just turn to your sidebar, the front cover, check your notes for them right here in your little cheat sheet area, answer from there. Good job. D is correct. Perfect. Again, another one that I bet can be answered by your little E&M sheet here, because they're all different. You don't have to run to each individual code. C is correct because we are dealing with helping the ambulance, right? Our 88 looks like a truck driving. I see with the 2 8s at the end, the 4 wheels on an ambulance. So I know that that particular code is the ambulance one. So I don't know. I just have to associate a lot of times with stuff. All right. If we're treating fractures and joint injuries, what does that do to our CPT codes? Look for similarities. Yep. The type of treatment and stabilization, not C, guys. Lots of people got that one wrong. That's answer A, and it's on page 133 if you are in the 2025 book. Let's see. Get this one all into one shot here. Here we go. Hey, Elena, how's it going? We got amputation, right? Are we doing 0025 or 31? Are we doing just plain amputation? 25 is secondary, and 31 includes an implant. And anytime you see the word intra, usually means that you're doing something inside something, right? So look right before it, and what do we see? We see the word implant. So you know right away you did an implant. You only got one code that means we did an implant, right? You don't have to have a medical coding course. I got all my certifications without a course. I did CPC, CPCI instructor, and CPMA without a course. You can too. You can self study, but totally up to you. A lot of people don't like having the course or are end up unhappy about it. I guess it depends on whether you get an instructor or not. A lot of times you can self study through the course. You can buy a course without a teacher and you can just watch the videos, do the task and the workbook work and learn that way. Or you can get one with an instructor. And of course, those vary depending on your instructor. Oh, Karen, you just purchased the boot camp. I made that for an actual instructor. One of the CPCI instructors couldn't pass CPMA due to the cases at the end, right? She could do the multiple choice questions about the laws and regulations and stuff like that. But a lot of the exam 64 questions are done on like 17 charts. And that part with the 17 charts is what she couldn't pass. So I created that workshop for her and she passed, of course. She had taken it like 6 times and couldn't pass it. But then when she watched that, she passed. So that's what it's made for. So I hope it helps you out too. Today was the 3rd time. Did you do it in reverse order? Like I said, like if your chart has 3 questions, do the last question first cuz that often would have told you what the answer to the first part of that question was because it gets down to like the little parts of the question, if that makes any sense, whether you're right or left or anterior, posterior, or whatever. I don't know. It always seems to help me answer the toughest question, which was the first question of the question. Yes, it did. Good, 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 Karen. Excellent, excellent. I hope so. Everybody know this one by now? Yes, yes, yes. It is C with that implant. What about this one? 3 ones. What about the nurse visit? What's up? I think it was a case with a doctor out of the office, but the patient had additional testing. Hmm. One of the codes says does not support. Well, you can bill a nurse visit for just a vaccine that was given. So, did the nurse administer the test? Like, did they do the hearing test or the breathing treatment or, I don't know, spirometer, air volume? I can't imagine what it would be. Um, but you get to bill 99211 if they just gave a vaccine or a shot. So, if they did anything, then great. But if it was a tech doing it and not the nurse, then no, you just bill the CPT code, right? If they came in for just a treadmill and their normal treadmill person did the treadmill, that's not the nurse and that's not, that's included with the tech, right? With the CPT code. So it depends on like what it was. Yeah. If she actually drew up something and did it, then you can bill it, basically, I guess. Um, but if she just ushered the patient into the office and handed them off to somebody else doing an x-ray or something, then no. If it's to capture another blood pressure, then yeah, you can bill it. Or I wonder if you could bill it for an EKG or if that's included. There's certain exams you don't bill an E&M visit for, like a nurse visit for. Um, I think EKG is one of them, and maybe like a pro time or a glucose. But for a blood pressure, you can. So there's a tricky area there of some fine line of something they're seeing if you knew. That one's a tough one for sure. Thinks it was a lesion code. What would a nurse do with a lesion? If she was just changing dressing, then that's included in the prior CPT code for the removal of the lesion. If she was removing stitches or staples, and they're the ones that build the original excision, then that's all included in the original surgery. Yeah. She couldn't have removed a lesion on her own, right? Unless she's a nurse practitioner. I don't know. And she's qualified. But if it was a follow up for dressing changes or suture removals, we don't bill that. People are saying D. With this one, I haven't looked up the codes. Um, this one would be particular about knowing which one and if you removed anything from it. Like, did you shave it? What did you do? Did you do the whole removal of the whole bone or did you just shave part of it? Did you just remove a small piece of it? Did you just re-break it? Those kind of things. But D is correct. You guys are correct. They're saying that the page number is 167. What about this one? Great, Trace. I hope it helps. No worries. Happy for the distraction. I wish you could see which questions you got wrong, you know. That's the rough part of these certification exams is you're set to worry about them for sure. What do you guys think? Which E&M visit are we doing? 85. If your fourth digit is an 8, that's a new patient. If your fourth digit is a 9, that's an established visit. Little tricks to know like that during your certification exam can help you pick an answer quicker and move through the exam faster. 120 seconds is no joke question. It really, time does not stop either. It keeps moving. Even if you get up and go to the bathroom, you're allowed to do that, but the exam keeps ticking. Yep, this one is established, so you could get rid of anything with a new patient in it for sure. That's helpful. Gets you down to, you know, better odds at picking a correct answer. Correct? Good job. What's our differences between our 295s? We've got 05, 15, 45, and an 81. Short or long? What did we do? Did we do anything short or long? Or rigid? Or multi-layered? It depends, Leslie. I got all different types of options. If you just want access to AAPC's full course and nothing else, no membership, no practicode, no exam attempts, no nothing, that's $900. You need a workbook to go with it, which is about $189 more to go with it. If you want a full course with books, exam attempts, practicodes, so you come out of it with no apprenticeship, you're a full CPC, and all that stuff, it can be up to $3,000, so it just depends. I got tons of options on my website. You can get some with manuals, without manuals, whatever you want to do to make it easier on yourself. You can spread the stuff out and purchase them individually as you need them. But just to take the course that's going to start in January with the workbook, if you've already got your own manuals or ICD-10 books or CPT books that you can borrow or use for practice, you can get it as low as like $900, but it just depends on what all you want included. If you're financing it or whatever and you want to pay for it all at one time so you don't have to worry about it as the year goes on, then you got that option too, but it just depends. You can just go over to medicalcodingbyjen.com and just click on the course tab and click on the course that you're interested in. And then there's a full bio individually underneath each course saying what you get, what the expectations are, and stuff like that. But irregardless, you'll get access to the online course for a whole year. And then I teach it in a recurring fashion. Like I'll start in January, I'll end in April, and then if you fall behind or decide you weren't ready and want to start over, you can start over or do it again with me when I start over again in April, right? You get access to me for a whole year. So you can do the whole course in January through April, and then you could do it all over again if you wanted to from April to whatever. You have access to it for a whole year. You can watch all my lessons in replay if you can't attend, or you can attend multiple times throughout the year if you wanted to. If you just want to do it over and over again with me, you don't have to just get access to me for just 12 weeks and that's it. You can jump in and do repeated courses with me. If that makes any sense. Over and over again. Some people have seen me teach, the business of medicine. This will be my third time teaching that chapter. So, and they've been there the whole time. So this will be number 4. So, you can watch all 4 times a year that I teach that particular chapter, It's totally up to you. It's your pace, your life. But you better finish the course. If you're going to purchase it, you better finish it. I don't want nobody buying it and not doing it because that stressed me out. Pay for y'all to spend the money and not finish it because it's worth a year off of your apprenticeship, which is super helpful. And then if you just do the Practicode, then you come out of it with no A at the end. You like the 05? 05 is correct. Good job. Right. This one's a really good one. Remember earlier today I was telling you about the CPT codes, the procedures have a time guideline that's in the front of the book that everybody forgets about that matters to codes in like the medicine section for time. Hey, go kart. Scorpius. Is there a book you can buy? You can buy the AAPC study guide if you are just whatever certification you're going to do. Get the official books from the people who are writing the exam for you, right? If you're going for ahima's CCS, then get their workbook. If you're going for an AAPC certification, they have workbooks for each certification. Get that. Don't buy anything off of Amazon or anybody else selling any other stuff. Buy the one from the people that are making the exam. I, of course, have them on my website for a slight discount, whatever teacher discount that I get, I give it to you guys so you can get the study guide. They haven't given me access to do the 2026 study guide yet, but I have the 2025 and the 2026 workbook for the course, but the study guide, for some reason, they're making me wait till January 1st for that. So it'll be next week when that's available. But anyway, that's my suggestion. And you don't have to have an updated year version. As long as it's older than 2023, get a used one if you can find one. Know someone? I don't think so. In my opinion, the 2024, well, you can't actually. You got to have the 2025, but The 2025 books will be just fine. And I have a document that'll turn your 2025 books into a 2026 book just in case you think they might actually have a question with the new codes on it. You can actually hand write in the new codes if you wanted to. I did that to my 2025 book, and I have that document for you in my shop if you want it. Just like 20 bucks. C. C is correct. Good job. What do you guys think about this one? Another one with time for 39 minutes. Thank you, Go Kart. Yep, we have almost 10,000 taps, 6 shares of the live. Thank you, guys. What about if it's a multi-specialty and PCP sends patient to a dermatologist within the practice? You have a guideline that says that if they're a different specialty, then they're a new patient, right? It doesn't matter that they're in the same group. If they have a different hat and they're a different doctor, then they're a new patient. Or it could be a consultation if that doctor does not treat that patient and just sends advice back to the primary care physician. Depends on how the visit is done. That doctor takes over care of the skin issue and sees the patient and treats the patient, then they're a new patient. If they are just giving advice back to the primary care physician, then it's a consult. Yes, we're going to have our class on tomorrow for just a final exam. Was not A, it was B. This one was 05. Page 31 is where your answer is at. What do you guys think about this one? Are we doing a post-op visit or not? Modifiers can help you out with this one too. 99024 is a post-op visit. 76 and 58 also have certain meanings. The D in the diagnosis code could also have a meaning that's significant. Yep, that means you bill an office visit and just, yep. And as long as they had another evaluation in management where they got looked down their ears, down their throat, listened to their bowel sounds, the doctor made a decision for care and they were treated and they took a history in the ER, then you bill for both and you would have to have that 51 modifier on the first E&M code, right? So you would see that in your available answers. My E&M workshop is great for that. It's 5 hours of nothing but complicated E&M questions and how people miss those right away. Even just deciding whether a patient is new or established can be quite tricky on the certification exam, the way they write up things. So, really cool workshop. 20 something dollars. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Returning today to get a new cast on. What are we billing? Oh no. Yeah, the modifier would have been on the first code. Modifiers on the second code when it's a procedure code. But when it's another E&M visit, you do it on the first code. 2 E&M visits. D was the answer for this one. We needed that 58 modifier for this one. And you got to bill for the casting change. What about this ER visit? Maybe. Or was it a consultation in the hospital or an office consultation? Mm. My kids are screaming on the video games. I'm going to go shut the door. Cat, open the door. Chloe, you look way too comfortable over there, girl. Thanks for the follow, Wise. What do you guys think? Yep. They were in the ER and they were treated moderately. The only answer with moderate, yep, is A. Perfect. What about this one? Thank you for the 9,000 taps on TikTok. Thank you for the thumbs up on YouTube. Any YouTube videos that you guys watch and hit that thumbs up on is greatly appreciated. It helps me stay motivated too. By saying A, A is correct. Good job. Remember, your 8s are for new patient. Your 9s, which are in the 4th digit character area, is for an established patient. So you just see if they are new or established. We see that this one is a new patient. So you know you had to keep the ones that were the 8, got rid of the ones that have the 9 in it. That helps out a whole lot. Again, 3 of the answers here are new patient because the 4th character is a 0 and then the 4th character is a 1, means that the last answer is an established patient. If we find out our patient is established, then we know our answer is D and we can move on. probably not going to be the answer, but every once in a while you'll hit a lotto question like that on the exam, which is nice. Thank you, Elena, for the roses. What do you guys think? A? I like A too. You know, you had to keep your new patient, so you kept A, B, and C, and then you avoid any answers with the 9 in it for diagnosis codes. That gets rid of B's and C's, and that tells you that your answer is A. That comes from a process called elimination that I teach. And if you watched the whole video for today, you'll know where to find that video on my YouTube channel. So, super cool video. And I got lots of them, 44 of them to be exact, but there is one of them that's several hours long that's really cool. All right, what about this one? We got congenital issues, and we're dealing with a joint. Which answer would be correct? What do you guys think? My YouTube channel, yes. So, if you go to my YouTube channel and you find that by going to medicalcodingbyjen.com, go to the free resources tab, go to the social media account page, click on the YouTube thing, get you here, right? You can watch all of my short videos, which have all of my practice questions, short videos. The live lessons, like what you're watching right now, the free replays are right there under the word live. And they all have a header of what's being done in each one of them. And then podcasts are there, playlist is there. Host has tons of practice questions that you guys can do. Really, really, a really wealthy, helpful information set of practice questions that you guys can do that are not videos, they're just practice questions. But if you go over here to the side where the little hour magnifying glass is at, right there, and just type in the word process and hit enter, brings up all my videos for the word process. And yeah, there's 44 videos right there in that playlist right there. And, you know, there's the one that's got 2 hours in it right there. So, right there on my channel. And my next upcoming free live lesson is always posted right there when the next one's going to be. And the previous practice questions are always right there. Previous videos, like this one, the most missed concepts for the medical coding certification exam video right there. Lots of really cool videos are always posted on the main page of the website. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Thanks, Twinkle. You're welcome. Two eights. This is the difference between knowing how many segments. Yep. And then understanding your parent codes. Like the 19, you can't do anything with it because its parent is the 18. Did you do what was in 18? Because that is included in your 19. Knowing how to look for that during your exam is vital because if you didn't do 18, then you definitely didn't do 19. But do you know how to look that up? Same thing with the 12. 12, you can't do nothing with it either. You have to go look at its mama code, which is the one that ends in '08. Did you do what is in '08? Or did you do what is in 18? Knowing how to do that during the exam is vital. You can't answer this question by only looking at the number 12 and only looking at number 19. That will get you the wrong answer every day of the week. Crystal, thanks for subscribing to the channel. I hope it helps you out a whole bunch. If you want access to my book prep videos, classes, and workshop, there is a $5 membership if you want to join it, but hopefully you can watch my next free live lesson and you could win a membership also because I do give away memberships. For Christmas, we gave away 10. Today, I already gave away 5. What do you guys think is the answer? A is correct. Good job. Perfect. What do you guys think about this one? Yeah, I teach from the certification exam point of view, not like medical coding course point of view, because the courses are not meant to help you pass the certification exam. They are meant to help you learn how to medically code from your CPT book, right? Or ICD-10 book. But to pass the exam is another learning curve. But I throw all that in together, each from that point of view. Think about it. These two answers or two sets of answers, 2 of your answers have the 59 modifier in them. 2 of your answers have a 51 modifier. What is the normal modifier that you use when you do multiple procedures on a patient? Do you normally use the 59 or do you normally use the 51? Or what circumstances for each? Knowing that will help you get down to a 50-50 shot really quickly with this answer. Then it's just a difference between the '04 code or the '22 code. So you only need to look up one code in this exam scenario, 2 codes, sorry, the '22 and the '04. Instead of looking up 9 different CPT codes for this question, you need to have a strategy and a plan of attack like this that takes you down to only looking up the difference between 2 CPT codes or just the headers, actually. What header is 13122 and what header is at 12004? Just the headers. The red and blue headers, remember? That's all you need to know. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Somebody said C in chat. Oh, it was A. We are going to use our 59 modifier. If they are unrelated, separate procedures, then you use your 59. 51 means that they were related. So if we look at this, right, we have a stabbing victim who had an abdominal wound, but then they also had upper thigh, what, right? Debridement, probably being dragged through the rocks or something, right? So the repair of the upper thigh is unrelated to the abdomen exploration, right? So they would have been a 59 modifier for this. They are not related because you would have taken and put down the instruments that you used on the thigh to repair that or debride it or whatever, and you would have used something different to explore a wound in an abdomen, different instruments. So think about that. If you're not going through the same opening to do something in the same area, they are not related, and you do not use the 51 modifier. Anyway, guys, I hope this was super helpful. I hear my kids coming back home from cheer practice. I have been on for 2 hours, so I hope this has been helpful. I think the kids have wellness appointments next Monday at their primary care physician. So I'll be driving back home from Vegas. I might be able to go live, but I don't have it up. I have the one Monday after that up. But look for me next Monday. My intention is to go live next Monday, the 5th. It just might be like 5:30. It just depends. Their appointments are 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And then there's a 2-hour drive afterwards. So, and then I got to drop them back off at school because they have wrestling and cheer practice. So I'm assuming I'll be here, but if something fails, I don't want to disappoint you guys, but hopefully I should be back by the 5th. Um, I have my last class for my ending class for CPC Tuesday. And other stuff. I've got tutoring that I have got to finish up on Wednesday and Friday of people that bought individual tutoring in December to finish up the rest of the week. And then we start our new CPC course next Tuesday. So I hope this is helpful, guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys had a super helpful or blessed Christmas. For Discord, if you just go to my website, right, medicalcodingbygym.com, you go to the social media tab, right? The Discord link is right there on that page. It says join now. You just click join now. It's right there underneath the free resources tab that says the social media. You can also go to the FAQ area, and it has a full description about what Discord is, how to join it, what it looks like, all that stuff. How to even create an account, all that stuff is all listed there. So there's a ton of free resources on my website. Please don't be afraid of it. Go click around. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I prefer you guys just watch my free lessons and take the free classes from CMS, get you a free grant from AAPC or from Pocket Prep or from Coding Clarified or whoever's giving away anything for free. and, never have to spend a dime on me. But there is free practice area where you can practice questions too on my website. You get free PDFs to download. Just click on what you think the answer is, and it'll tell you what the answer is with the rationale. There's free book prep photographs that tell you how to make your own notes in your book. And there's also free videos on how to prep your book. And then if you want the rest, they're only $5 on YouTube. And then if you want to do even more practice questions, I have this area for $8 where you can do a ton of practice questions too if you guys decide to. But totally don't have to. Hopefully, you guys don't need to spend anything. But there is a ton of practice area all over my website and stuff that you guys can do for free. Um, and a ton on YouTube, of course, that are totally free. And the replays are there. Be sure you know how to search up YouTube and look for all those different YouTube videos. And don't forget about the Pocket Prep link that is on my website. Please use it if you are going to purchase Pocket Prep. Let them know that I sent you their way. All you do is click on Pocket Prep, that little button right there. You'll go straight to medical. Click that, and the top link is AAPC CPC, and you can get access to 750 practice exam questions in all 18 areas of the certification exam. You can even build exams where you do nothing but cases. They have 75 of those, or just all anesthesia questions, or all anatomy questions, or all radiology questions, or just lab and path. Super helpful, and they do have a pass guarantee. So, super cool, super helpful, and really reasonable prices. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Been using Pocket Prep forever. In fact, I think my access doesn't go away till like 2027. I keep renewing it every year. Every time they have a coupon, I'll renew it. So, love it. You can put it on your cell phone, take it with you, and do it mobile in the car. You can practice the process of elimination with 750 practice questions. It's great. Love it. So don't forget to check that out. That is on my website. If you need, where do I get my books, or where do I get my pens, or anything like that, that's all listed right there in the Amazon list that's listed there. And don't forget about Project Resume when you guys do pass. If you click on that link, it'll take you to Jacob's resume service. Him and Anna are CPCs. They own a bunch of companies and stuff. Um, they are medical coders, and they will rewrite your resume, including your LinkedIn profile, revamp it for you and everything from a CPC or medical coder point of view. And if you use my name, Jen, like Jennifer, Jen, 10, it'll take 10% off of your resume services that you use with them. And then they'll also send me 10% of what you spend, which is cool. And I'll just spend that on you guys doing YouTube videos, right? I'll send that to make more YouTube memberships. But they're great because they are real CPC people that will rework your resume and write you a cover letter and fix your LinkedIn account and all that stuff. And they got a book too that shows you how to get a job and all that stuff that they send to you and stuff. So really cool, really nice people. I've seen them forever inside the AAPC magazines. They're always writing articles and stuff like that. They've been around for a long time. So um, use their service. Let me know. Um, if you do use them, how your resume turned out and how well it helped. I'm assuming it's going to be lovely and wonderful. I haven't had to look for a job in a long time, and I'm retired now. I'm super old, so um, I don't need any of their services, but I'm not a good, like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't know how to write a resume right now. The last time I wrote one might have been 9/11 when I moved from Memphis, Tennessee to California, but that was a long time ago. So I haven't had to look for a job since then. So I've solicited them to help us out with that kind of service, and I feel confident they're going to be great because I know I've seen them around for a long, long time. So, um, sent forever inside the AAPC magazine. So they're great, and for $90, it's worth having somebody fix all that stuff and knows the current market and what needs to be on the resume to get you a current job. So, um, I think they're great. So don't forget about Project Resume also with Pocket Prep. So Gen 10. All right, guys. Love you guys. I'm going to go check on Travis, and I'll see you guys next Monday.